Start the live. Blessings and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Cooking in the Kitchen with Grace. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace. We go live almost 3 times a week in the morning, but today we're in the afternoon and we are talking about today, the secret war Trump had on the cartels. Let's give YouTube a minute to send out notifications. Yes, we see notifications going out now. They didn't go out a few minutes ago, but we're here for it. Sorry for my delay, guys. We got a great lineup. Okay, now we're not going to make it so hot and heavy like I usually do, but we are going to kind of, get an idea of what is going on. It seems like Trump, in the midst of all of what we've been talking about, Trump seems to be having a secret war, well, not secret because he's been telling us, but there's so much going on with Mexico and Venezuelan cartels. Dun 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 dun. So what we're gonna do is start with a few TikToks, and then we're gonna get ourselves caught up. If you don't know what's going on, you'll be very well rounded after we finish. Now we're gonna do a little flashback, and now I don't mean to make fun, but we're gonna have to because we had we had a whole lot of people that they put their hat in this election for Trump, and they ain't too happy. So if you remember this clip, we're gonna play this clip right here as people start to come in and the notification goes out. Check it out. What we got going on here? They don't sound too happy. Too happy.
Conference in Doral Monday, Venezuelan Americans denounced the Trump administration and South Florida Republicans.
More than betrayed.
More than betrayed.
They used us. They actually, during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that he was not going to touch the documented people.
Yeah. So this is what we saw a couple of months ago, and I don't know if you guys been following up, but that was Venezuela. Now we're gonna highlight, like I said, some information related to the Venezuelan gang. Okay, hold on one second, because basically I think about a year ago. Excuse my lighting, because it's a little dark. I think about a year and a half ago, I made a video about the Venezuelan gang Agua. So we're going to be putting that at the end of this broadcast so we can kind of see how it was going. I was really nervous about the fact that they were coming into the United States in droves, okay? And some of the things that they were doing, they were taking over buildings. So I do want you guys to understand, myself being a separatist, I still understand the importance of following law, especially migration law. I am coming into another country. You affect the economy, the things that's going on, and you also want to make sure that the people that come into the United States or into any country actually have respect for the country. So let's play this real quick. Let's watch what's going on, what Trump said a little while ago about Venezuela.
In a different way, they continue to send people that we rebuff to our border. They continue to send drugs into our country. Venezuela, they've been very nasty, and we can't let that happen. But we have other countries too. We do have, and this is just getting a little off subject, but we have now the safest border we've ever had.
So
we have Venezuela acting up in a different way. They continue to send people that we rebuff to our border. They continue to send drugs into our country. Venezuela, they've been very nasty, and we can't let that happen.
So y'all know I like to have a well-rounded conversation here. I know it's a little dark. I think I'm going to put some more light on. But y'all know I like to have a well-rounded conversation. Let me know what you think about Trump actually addressing the border. Because I do think it's important for Trump to address the border, but he didn't address the border the way that he did in his last election, as I'm going to put up a wall, I'm going to do this, do that. Nobody's asking him about this wall, okay? Y'all know we got to think about it kind of from a critical perspective. I would have respect if Trump would have basically took the National Guards, activated them in each state, and brought them to the border and actually came up with a comprehensive plan to protect our border first instead of just coming into, his position, attacking Americans, causing basically civil war to go on in several different states. And I'm going to ask you this. Do you think that Trump is stretching our military further than what we can actually handle? These are some of the questions, because now we're in this broadcast, we're talking about Trump taking our troops into international waters, even though they've been there, activating them. Okay? How big is our military? How big is our air forces that we can be in so many different places at one time? Okay? So let's watch this. I'm going to see, can I get some more light real quick? Hope you guys are having a great evening. Thank you for tuning in, dropping in. New footage of cartel airstrike as Trump scores big in Mexico. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna get some light up in here.
Morning around the Trump administration's plan to eradicate the drug cartels, declassifying the details, some of the details surrounding the U.S. airstrike on that Venezuelan drug vessel. We have a copy of the footage. SecDef Pete Hegseth issuing a warning. This is only the beginning, he says. If you try to traffic anything into this country, into the U.S., you will be done. Mexico capitulating, agreeing to work with the U.S. to assist in this effort. The latest out of China as well. Wild footage from China's military parade yesterday. We'll look at that and more stories as well from around the country, including an update on Epstein. Yes, we may be about to learn new information. Finally.
Y'all see, I had to get my light together, y'all. I had to just bring the studio light in here. It's too dark. Good evening and welcome. So this was some footage about basically Trump thinking about doing airstrikes, okay, into Mexico in areas like that. Do we have the capability? Because obviously, we're not welcome to go in Mexico and just go in and get cartels. We're going to break this down.
Well, good morning, Sugar Britches. How you doing, honey?
Who is that? Hold on one second, y'all. I hope y'all guys are doing good tonight. This is going to be a laid-back broadcast. I ain't going to be all serious, start talking about, Insurrection Act and all of that stuff. But let's watch this real quick, because we just trying to ease our way down the road.
Trump just blew up that boat.
Figuring out what's going on, because we know most recently, allegedly... Hold on. It's not your turn, ma'am. It's not your turn. It's not your turn.
Well, then, so...
My thing keep playing. All right. Now, y'all know, if y'all don't know, Trump, they just made an announcement that he took down some Venezuela's cartels in international water, just boom, blew up the boat. Okay, but we want to hear what people have to say about this. This is what brought this back to my attention, because I'm like, oh, snap. This guy is all over. Yo, he got us stretched thin. Let's watch this.
Know if they were actual drug dealers? Oh, but they were drug cartel people. I can't believe Trump just blew up that boat. That seems so radical. Does he even know if they were actual drug dealers? Oh, drug cartel people smuggling drugs into the U.S. Do you want to roll out a red carpet too? Well, then, so why couldn't we just intercept them? Why couldn't we just put them in jail like civilized people? Oh, sure, let's bring cartel killers onto U.S. soil, pay for their translators, their lawyers, and then just wait until a liberal judge sets them free. That sounds like a great plan.
Lock in, fuck niggas. We about to fact check this shit. First, if you fuck with me, check out the podcast. Let's get it. What the hell are you talking about? Donald Trump bombing an alleged cartel boat doesn't make any sense. Donald Trump set a $50 million bounty on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. And the reason for this bounty is because the U.S. government believes that Maduro is working with the cartel called Tren de Aragua, which the Venezuelan president claims that he got rid of in 2023. Now, Donald Trump claims that the Pentagon knew the individuals on that boat. They knew that they were going to America, and they knew that was a cartel speedboat. So why didn't they intercept them? Would obtaining the speedboat, the cartel members, and the drugs help your case more when it came to Maduro? It's also weird that the Pentagon is not releasing any more information but the video that Venezuela is claiming is AI. And I definitely believe the video is real. I don't think it's AI. But if the Trump administration is claiming that they actually knew the individuals in there, why aren't they naming anyone? Why aren't they naming the captain, for instance? I mean, it's the same man who had no problem giving us information on the Iran attack, but we're not getting any cartel member names. We're not getting how many pounds of drugs was on that boat. We're not getting any information on how they were able to know that that was going to America. Not to mention the legality of this attack. Congress has to approve these attacks. Historically, though, presidents never really cared about getting permission from Congress. But nonetheless, this attack was not only irresponsible, it was also stupid.
All right, so we're going to leave everything that I show you here. We're going to leave the link. You know how we do. Shout out to stop it, guys. You know I'm getting my broadcast together. I'm actually getting off of a long weekend, so bear with me. I want to say first, thank you for being here, everybody in the audience. Shout out to Miss R Miss Blessings, Susan HP, Lima. That's your name, Joseph. Blessings to everyone here. So, what do you think? Trump blew up this boat. Again, we did with logic, and I had to show this guy because it is logical. Why would you go blow up a boat and not identify the people? You say that you know that those are cartels in there, but let's highlight what's going on in America. A lot of people, I don't know if you guys believe it, but I don't believe a lot of things Trump say. Now, I will agree with your comment. Drugs are the biggest business in America. They are definitely not trying to stop them. No comment. I don't want to get too deep because that makes me go all the way back into thinking of, those conspiracies where they said they were sending our troops' bodies back filled, or their caskets filled with poppy seeds and things like that. As you stated, these type of drugs are not grown here. So how do they get here? And that's what I'm saying. Going to just blow up boats and going to war with people, I don't think that's the best idea, because there are other ways that we can approach this. Highlighting that we have ports here, we have docks, we have borders. The first thing we have to do is secure those borders and those docks. Just to get to the sideline before we do a little flashback into some of what the mainstream news is doing. Do y'all remember this? I'm gonna have to put this at the bottom. Probably it was during the time of Ovid. J.P. Morgan boats got caught with drugs in them at the dock. I don't remember what dock it was, but basically, in that particular story, I should review it one day with you guys, because that's called Banking Warlords, allegedly. A lot of the people who worked on the dock, they got in trouble. They got locked up. They got locked up for conspiracy, as other than J.P. Morgan being named the owner of the boats, the people who do the logistics of the boats. It was just the little guys. So again, we got to highlight that we have ports and docks, and we have borders that we are supposed to secure. So how do they get in here? I'm just saying, I know people sneak them in there, but I came across this video, and I should pull it up. I have to find it. But my uncle sent me this video, and I think I have to show it to you guys. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. So, and I have to tell y'all this story. This is for real. And y'all may not believe it, but it's the truth, because he sent it to me, and I thought that it was part of my imagination. When I was about 13 or 14, me and my best friend was out being baddies, girls, going to the park, drinking Cisco. You know what that is. We ain't supposed to be doing bad stuff. So we was out late at night, and we were walking towards the park, and I remember just like 4 boys running down the street, like they running, they laugh, like, oh snap, they face covered, they got masks on, they had book bags, and they running. Now mind you, this is in the 90s, early 2000s. Early 2000s. Let me correct myself, I'm not that old. So when me and my friend went into the park, there was a crate. There was a crate there, and the crate had guns in the crate. And I can look you dead in your face and tell you this dead up. The crate had guns in the crate. So them young boys must have found the crate, came back and like with book bags and stuff, and took them and sold them. I'm gonna tell you, that was the livest summer in Newark. We had the highest body count we ever had. They had guns like Bonnie and Clyde guns. They dropped them off in the hood. It's not a lie. You know the guns that got the circle ammunition that you put up there? Never saw it in my life. They call crowd pleasers. They had that in the hood. So when you say that, how do these drugs get here? There is an orchestrated plan. That's why it's so important for us to pay attention to this and the propaganda, because he's throwing stuff out there. And I do agree. We have a drug problem. We don't need to have cartels in here. We don't need to have the Tren de Agua in here at all. Okay? They're even worse. They're worse than the Bloods and Crips. Okay? They're very vicious. But it's how we address it. Are we going to make this problem better or worse? Because now they're sending threats out to Trump, okay? I know I said a lot, but you guys know I always got a story to tell. I always got a story to tell. And I'm going to actually put the link to that video that my uncle sent me. Because what he sent me, hold on, was an AI video. And I'm like, looking at it, and I'm like, why you sent this to me? And he said, you remember? And I was like, oh, snap. You too? I didn't know that he knew. So let's just watch this. Here's the cartel's message to Trump after being labeled terrorist, okay? Let's see what is their response to Mr. Trump.
Asked what they thought about Trump labeling them terrorist organizations. What was their response to that?
I asked them, what do you think about Trump calling you terrorists? And how is this going to impact you? We don't care. We're just going to wait 4 years. It's not that deep. We're not going to fight them on it. We'll give them what they want to see. And we are not terrorists. There are drug addicts all across the United States who want what we have to sell. If this designation means that we have to hold off for a little while in order to protect our networks, that's exactly what we will do.
There's always a potential that we send in SOCOM and JSOC units. Do they have any fear of that?
I asked them about that, and they said that if American Special Forces lay their feet on Mexican soil, they will fight till the death because they will have nothing to lose. Will they win that fight? No. But they won't go down without a fight. If their entire livelihood and their entire business is being attacked, especially by U.S. uniform operators who have every means to just completely squash it, they won't go down like a bitch.
Do you want down the cartels?
Do you see? Now, again, the question is, do we have the actual manpower to be doing this? Okay. Now, I will say this: Mexico land is very different. So, American troops that go out there, because I kind of think about a lot of different stuff. They may have some type of leverage because of the land. And because America understands that land, but it's looking kind of ugly. Because at the end of the day, we're still connected to Mexico regardless. And what did she say? She was like, hey, they want the drugs. We just going to lay back for a little while until you just shut up. That's basically what she said. But Mexican cartels lose massively after Trump cracks down on border. Now, this, let me give you the timeline, because the other videos I was showing you was kind of recent, and we kind of like moving backwards. So this was about a month ago. All right, this has been the news that's been creeping under handedly as all of the other crazy stuff happened here. Do you think that our military can handle this?
To crack down on the threat posed by Latin American cartels, the Navy has deployed multiple warships
to the
region, including 3 guided missile destroyers and 1 guided missile cruiser. Let's take a closer look at what is going in the capabilities that they have. So here's the USS Gravely, the Jason Dunham, and the Samson. Those are the Panama Canal, headed to international waters off Venezuela. When you talk about this administration's push for peace through strength, this is what strength looks like. And you talk about capabilities, you can see a missile being fired off here. So the destroyer capability is quite impressive. It's one of the strongest.
And this is what they do. They'll get us all souped up like, yeah, this is what peace and a strength looks like. No, actually, this looks like war. This looks like our resources going out. This looks like our taxes that's going to the feds that they don't want to give to the American citizen is funding another war that may not be effective. See, that's what we got to look into. Effectiveness of what America processes is. This is what we highlight here. Is this effective or not? And again, if I had the button that said womp, 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 I'm not sure if this is effective because we have numerous, I'm going to keep it real. Do you think that Venezuelan Tren de Agua just came here this time? I mean, over the last 4 years, no. I literally told y'all a story when I was in nursing school. I was in nursing school 12 years ago, where they unalived 2 high school students in a middle school backyard playground for no reason. Plain and simple. It was just no reason. Execution style. You know how long ago? There's a lot of them in here. So that's a little nerve-wracking to think about, because you ever heard of the concept of sleeper cells? Do you see what I'm saying? We got to do this a little bit more, synchronized. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let's finish watching this.
They're equipped with Tomahawk and vertical launch ASROC missiles. Those are
I just wanna use these toys.
rocket missiles. Very significant. They also can carry nuclear-tipped missiles. They're equipped with the Aegis weapon system. That's what makes these destroyers very unique. And they can reach speeds up to 30 knots, which makes them very swift and very quick and can maneuver at a moment's notice. Finally, they all carry 2 LAMPS helicopters. What's that? Those are light, airborne, multi-purpose systems. They're also known as Seahawks. Of course,
I'm going to leave this video. This is Fox News. Okay, let's see. Let me go past this, because basically him telling us all of this is not going to stop the drugs from coming in, because they're coming in through the border. And Mexico and America don't have a water border, but maybe this is for Venezuela. Let's watch this real quick, because this says Mexican cartels. So do they come in through the boats? Y'all let me know. I'm trying to figure this out, because I thought Mexico was connected to America. I thought you could just walk over, but maybe I'm confused. Y'all educate me, please.
Today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio heading to Latin America as he begins a trip to Mexico and Ecuador. The State Department says will center on discussions towards dismantling the cartels, halting fentanyl trafficking, and ending illegal immigration. Joining us now to discuss is security specialist and cartel expert Ed Calderon. Ed, what do you make of the ships that are being sent and how Maduro is responding to this? And do you think ultimately that Secretary Marco Rubio's trip can sort of help foster these other Latin American countries, Mexico, Ecuador, to join our fight against the cartels?
Mexico is going through a very leftist time in its policy and politics. It's going to be an uphill battle.
It's weird, because wasn't they just right wing? Y'all remember the Mexicans? I just showed you in Venezuela. It's like Trump, and then it was like, they set us up. People just go left and right. That's why we separatists here. We ain't got time to be jumping shit. We just stay in the middle. We hit the like button if you're a separatist. We just choose right over wrong. Now he's saying that Mexico is far left. I'm confused.
The things that are going on with the Maduro regime have been going on for years. The first time El Chapo was arrested in the 90s was coming back from meeting with some of the generals that run the Cartel de los Soles, which is very much at the center of some of these allegations that the United States is launching at Maduro. It's an uphill battle.
It's an uphill battle, Ed, but you point out rightfully that back in 2020, the first Trump administration indicted Maduro as the leader of the Cartel de Soles because of narco-terrorism and because of the cocaine trafficking. Do you see what we're seeing in this show of force, this strength off the international waters of Venezuela, will in some way convince Maduro that it is time for him to give up his reign on that cartel and stop sending the deadly drugs into our country?
We're going to leave this for you guys to finish watch the rest of it, so you could get an idea of what's going on, who's Maduro, what's going on in Venezuela. I thought that this was totally based on Mexican cartels, but they're actually talking about Venezuela as well, and Mexican cartels in here in the battle against Trump administration allegedly, and slowing down the fentanyl distribution in here. I would like to add something to this conversation as well, being a healthcare provider and understanding that our healthcare system sometimes creates some of these drug addicts. What are we going to do with that as well? Because the fentanyl is coming, I know some fentanyl is coming through our medical system. There are people that literally get prescriptions of this and then resell it. They're crooked ass doctors and everything. This has to be an internal, I believe, approach to this. Y'all forgot about that. Oh, yeah. I'm going to keep it real. That's why they be mad at me in healthcare, too, because I be telling. I'm like, now you done gave out too many of the damn paper prescriptions. That's how they had that big lawsuit against hydrocodone. Okay, because they were just willy-nilly talking about you never told the people that they were going to get addiction and all that stuff. Yeah, but y'all, we have these loose pharmaceutical laws as well. A lot of the drugs that they're selling on the street is directly connected to our pharmaceutical distribution, and nobody's talking about fixing that. But you know, I said I was gonna make this not complicated tonight, but I'm just thinking here. You know what I'm saying? Hit the button if you like to think outside the box. Like, come on, when we make the system over, guys, we're gonna be much better than them. Okay, you already know what this is over here. I truly believe that this is the end of the wicked and the beginning of new beginnings as far as the Bible, and we have to endure this. You know, I don't take none of this conversation and the things we talk about lightly, but I talk about it in a... Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. I think my service started messing up or something. Oh, that's what happened. Hey, guys, I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. It looked like my messing up. Can y'all hear me? Okay, cool. Let's start this again. That's why I was like, why my numbers went down. I think my service had jumped off. Okay, guys, hit the like button. We back. I do apologize. So this is what we were talking about. Basically, there's an indifference in Mexico. You have some politicians that want Trump to send troops in, and then you have some that don't. So this is what happened a month ago that kind of sparked my attention. And then after, we already know just a couple of days ago, Trump bombed allegedly Venezuela ships. So if y'all don't know, this is what happened. I do apologize, my service messed up a little bit.
Plenty of top headlines to get to here on LiveNOW from Fox. And let's turn our attention right now to coverage of the United States-Mexico border and President Trump's crackdown on drug cartels, the topic already causing issues between the two countries. President Trump has directed the Pentagon to target cartels as terrorist organization, but Mexico's president is pushing back, and they are not the only one. These are some video from inside of, obviously, the politics in the legislature there in Mexico as lawmakers Alejandro Moreno, the leader of the opposition PRI party, went to the podium as Wednesday's session ended and angrily confronted the Senate president there, Gerardo Fernandez Noroña,
Look at them.
the ruling of this Morena party for not being given the...
Oh my goodness. I sound like my grandma. Look at this. Look, they fighting. What the hell? Excuse my language. Who is the PRI party? We got to look into them when we follow up on this, because they seem to don't want Trump to come in. Now,
into our newsroom, you can see some dynamic
Look at
moments there here on LiveNOW from Fox. And before we get to that, let's be joined right now by Alana Accounts, the Mexico...
Look, they jumping him. You saw how, what do they got going on out there, y'all? I'll let y'all finish watch this news broadcast in its entirety. Everything that I share with you guys will be at the bottom. I want to say thank you for being with us. So sorry that we had some technical issues just now, but again, y'all know, if y'all don't know what's going on, I'm working to get myself back in the algorithm. We do have a full studio. It's just that some of those notifications don't go out when I go in the studio, and I actually like being here in the kitchen cooking. So this is why we do long form. Hit the like button. I hope it's keeping you enlightened. Every day we talk about something related to this daggone administration at this point, but we try to do it from a critical perspective, okay? So former drug kingpin reveals his advice for Trump aiming cartel crackdown. So we're going to listen to what the cartels got to say about Trump, because allegedly somebody putting a hit out on this man. Allegedly.
You guys is saying we're going to take a tough line on drugs coming into our country, actually declaring war on the cartels. Yes. And so yesterday we had a fascinating conversation. As soon as I had this interview, I thought, Lawrence Jones wishes he was here to have this interview. We had a former kingpin of the Sinaloa cartel. You'll see he's wearing glasses and a mask. Tell us what he thinks of this war on cartels. And I'm going to tell you what he told me off camera after, because I think it's really important. Listen.
That they're run their operation like any corporate partial company
like Amazon.
Sophisticated.
Sophisticated.
Wow.
They use technology. And
Yo, wait a minute. Did he just say the cartels is like Amazon? Okay. Okay. Y'all heard that right? Okay.
Involved in these local communities or bigger cities across the United States, and they run the operation just like a Fortune 500 company. I think the aggressive approach is going to send a strong message to every drug trafficker across Latin America and places like Venezuela that's used as a transport hub from Mexican cartels and Colombian organizations to transport their drugs. That they're going to go after everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a president of a country or you're a drug trafficker. There's going to be a lot for drug traffickers.
They say
So
that, but I don't
sometimes when you have
believe
an
it.
interview like that, the conversation continues after the camera, in the commercial break, and then he shared something that was just like a light bulb. So I said after the interview, I said, so what else? What else would you tell President Trump to do to get rid of these cartels?
Oh, this is good. I know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, and he said, so we do a lot of interdiction with drugs coming in. The border's sealed, so we're monitoring and looking into trucks and cars that are coming in to catch the drugs. He said, but the money has to go out. And the drug dealers prefer not to launder it into real estate and jewelry and cars and stuff. They really want the cash. So you got to check the cars as they're going out of the country.
Oh, my
because the cash is
God.
in the trucks. He also said, check out FedEx and UPS. He said now they're just shipping it because it's so hard to get the drugs in because the president has been so effective. So he said, he said the war on drugs is the right message, and what's happening in the Caribbean is the right message. He also agreed with what they're doing to pressure Maduro in Venezuela, but he said these are some things that can be done from the inside.
Wait. I'm sorry, y'all. I just got scary. Ooh, my brain go to the left when I heard that. Tell me what you guys heard. But what I'm hearing is that this may expand to them cracking down more on Americans because they're just so loosey-goosey. They name FedEx, they name melon distributors. They say they're coming in on the trucks. So, and that's understandable. But they're coming through our borders with our checkpoints. There are checkpoints on the highways as well, where they're constantly, where they go to weigh the trucks and things like that. Why logistically not send the National Guard to these locations so they can start to crack down on them coming in? They even said it's coming in the mail, and I'm just like, huh? Because I thought they had technology good enough to make sure that drugs is not transported through the mail, but it's still happening. Woo, that made me think, because when I hear it, it's like, oh my God, we're going to give this administration another way to attack us. I hope they do it correctly. I want this to happen as far as the war on drugs, the illegal immigration. This leads right into the sex trafficking that's happening as well. This is all connected, but it's how you do it. Ooh. Oh, we got some things coming up down the pipeline, guys. I hope y'all paying attention. Trump is starting to pay attention to trucking. And I'm like, woo. That's why I was like, oh my God, God is showing me everything. Because when she brings this up, I'm like, okay. When I first heard that, he said like he's going to start cracking down on the trucking companies, make sure that everybody is, how can I say, fit to be truck drivers and, I don't know, smart enough. This is what he's saying. But I was thinking about, oh my God, they're trying to roll out electric trucks. Elon is still his boy. And I'm like, oh boy, he's trying to hit this market. But then if you think about it like this is another way for him to get in and kind of stop cartels from mass distribution. But again, where is the connect? Because we're blaming the cartels. But they have to have a connection into America. They have to have a connection at these ports to get them in. Just like I told you with the JP Morgan case. Go look that up. JP Morgan, the company didn't get in trouble, but the workers there got in trouble. Logistically, that was set up by the company. They knew who they were dealing with. So, I don't know. How do you feel about that? I mean, that is, what he said is true. These are the things that he needs to focus in on. But this can affect us as well. So let's play the rest of this. This was good right here.
part of the movies today have watered down what the cartels actually do. You just think about the killing, but you don't think about the whole criminal enterprise.
Yeah. It's a business.
You got to remember, they have their own drone
Yes.
systems. They have their own enforcement. They have their own people that are dirty within all of these agencies as well, that's giving them all this information.
Thank you.
He's right. They do operate like a corporation, and you got to hit them where it hurts, which is their money. Remember, the border has been shut down. Part of the operation is the humans that are coming across there, both when it comes to sex trafficking and paying your amount to cross the border. That has been shut down. So the drug operation is going up right now. So that's where you got to hit them there.
And I spoke to President Trump recently, and he told me that the cartels are scared in the Caribbean. He said, we're looking for boats. We can't find any. They're not coming out. So
Because they moving differently. They're not afraid. They moving like guerrilla warfare. So it's a little bit a lot. Hold on 1 second. We about to play a few more videos. I want to say thank you for being here. Please get in the comments. Let me know what you think. We love critical thinking. Excuse me, y'all. We love critical thinking. I want to know where you're from, what you think about this. What's your idea? This is Cartel Takedown. Trump secretly authorized military force to destroy foreign drug cartels. So I think this is when he blew up the thing. Let's listen to Trump talking crazy. Hold on 1 second.
Now he's becoming an industry whistleblower. Kate Jack.
Former U.S. Army Special Forces and president of World Strike.
Let's watch
Jim
this
Hansen.
one. It's right here.
Jim,
Hold on.
Pentagon's crosshairs. And it's not just the wall anymore. Trump ordered the kill shot. The days of local drug busts and random motels, they were fun, but that's Breaking Bad stuff. Trump wants to take the fight to El Chapo's front yard.
We're talking about sending military forces to fight against the drug cartels in Latin America. Do you think it's worth sending our forces, our U.S. forces there to take this on?
Cartels where?
Central Latin America.
Well, Latin America's got a lot of cartels. They've got a lot of drugs flowing. So, we want to protect our country. We have to protect our country. We haven't been doing it for 4 years. And we love this country like they love their countries. We have to protect our country. So, we're playing a tough game.
According to the New York Times, behind the scenes, Trump's moving all the pieces into place to pull this off.
See, and we wasn't paying attention. I don't know if y'all was paying attention, but I really didn't hone in that he was logistically still doing this thing. And can I really say what's the elephant in the room, guys? Y'all gonna be mad at me? Don't be mad at me. But internally, do y'all think that we have to address what the CIA do, allegedly? And I'm not going to, go too deep into that. But remember, I told you there's a lot of documents that are on archive.org. So all of my people who like to find facts and go look into some of these CIA documents, FBI documents, they are located on archive.org. You don't only have to go on the White House website, because you can look at archives. It's kind of hard. But there are some things that highlight the CIA may have been doing some stuff to bring this in here under the guise that they were trying to lock up people like they were stings. I.e., example, when I told you as a child, and I'm not saying it was them, the crates being dropped in Newark. And then another one, I just got to tell you, because this thing is in the inside too, y'all. Y'all remember a couple of years ago, go Google this, where they set the black kids up in Chicago and they put all of those sneakers out inside of a truck and basically it was a sting to see who would steal them. That wasn't the first time they ever did that in the black community. I'm just letting y'all know that, okay? But before it was crates of drugs and guns, like I told you. So when that happened, I was like, oh snap, they did it again. And that's why black women go live, because we tell a story that y'all don't know. We tell the other story. Y'all need us to go live. We need to go. Everybody, where you're at, no matter if you're black, white, if you have a story to tell that you think that people should know, go live, okay? Because talk until they try to censor us. because we will figure out what's going on here. So I just wanted to add that to the conversation again. We're gonna watch a little bit more of this and then get to our next few videos and start to sum up, because there are some other stuff going on that I have questions about, and maybe you guys need to question, because it's getting ugly between Trump. I think this administration, I think it's getting ugly between America and Israel. Y'all like, where did that come from? Ooh, 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 ooh. We gonna talk. Whoa, it's getting ugly.
Got a big problemo.
Yes, but it has
Big
nothing
problem,
to do with
big
Mexican
problem.
territory. It has to do with their country. It does not involve our territory.
So it would be within the United States?
Within the United States, exactly.
So and that's what we were saying. Address the problem here, and I agree with her. You can't go into another country and think you're going to stop what's being distributed to our country, but we're actually receiving it. We're actually logistically distributing it to our cities that we have allegedly some of our agency. Blink if you're safe. I'm just playing. We some of our agencies aiding in some of these disparities. So former cartel kingpin reveals if Trump crackdown on drugs cartel, it's really, hold on. If Trump crackdown on drug cartels is really working, that's what it's supposed to be. Let's see what they gotta say. This is I think this is a month ago. Yep, a month ago. Okay. It's been some developments. Have y'all been paying attention to this? Because I haven't. Jeez.
An ex-Chicago kingpin who went from dealing billions of dollars
Ooh,
worth
see?
of drugs as one
Chicago again. I'm telling you, this is where the drugs are coming into the major cities. We're not bringing the drugs into these major cities. I'm just keeping it real. Here you go. Let's listen to, because we got Trende Agua out there in Chicago. We got Trende Agua out there in Newark, where I'm from. I told you when that happened, it happened years ago. I've been a nurse for 12 years now. That happened about 13 years ago. They've been flooding our communities in with drugs, so I think we have to have a better approach. But let's see if they say it is working.
of North America's most successful cocaine traffickers to bringing down the infamous drug lord El Chapo, as a government informant. He is former Sinaloa cartel kingpin Margarito J. Flores Jr., who joins us here on set. Jay, it's great to see you.
This guy,
together on
either this guy was sent in there or he gonna get in trouble.
several occasions. I feel like it's necessary every time to clarify for the audience why you are wearing that mask, why you are wearing the sunglasses.
Fear persecution.
What?
My life will continue to be in danger. I testify against the most deadliest and powerful drug cartel.
And the reason why I say what is not because his life not in danger, but this ain't helping him. That's why I say he gotta be with them. No way. No way. They know who this man is.
That existed. So yes, it's for my safety. And I know that many individuals might think that I still look the same, and but I don't. But I do it for my safety.
Well, we can all appreciate that.
See, he crazy. He just said, well, many people will think that I look the same, but I don't. How you gonna tell us what we perceive? I just said that, y'all. They know who he is. If they really wanted to blur him out, they should have blurred his face and his voice. Anyway, I'm sorry, I went to the left, but obviously he heard me say that. That's why he addressed it. But let's just play the video.
Going against the Sinaloa cartel. The Sinaloa cartel is one of the cartels, the primary cartel, in fact, that the Trump administration says they're going after and going on offense. What do you think about this as an approach, going on offense?
Well, it's great, especially today as kickoff, right? And return that analogy, but taking it to where the cartel's territories, as we saw with the bombing of a boat with drug traffickers, I think it sends a clear message to every drug trafficking organization and cartel that the Trump administration is taking this very seriously, and they're not playing any games.
But how high and how far do we have to escalate the war, Jay? You have talked about this with me. I mean, the number of drugs coming into Mexico and then coming into America, and the amount of money going back into Mexico, it's like every time we do something, it's swatting at a gnat. There's a swarm of gnats when it comes to the cartels.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe the seizure of these precursor chemicals, I believe it was 600,000 kilograms of precursors, that has a more significant impact on drug trafficking overall. But I think it's a multifaceted
Oh my
approach.
God.
It's
So you
continuing
telling me that's what they said, this like Amazon. This is a whole warehouse full of drugs. You telling me no type of border control or anything sort is this not a first date thing? But I can see because we got to take responsibility for some of this. I'm not about to play. We can't just blame everybody because this is a lot. And we got to keep our eye on the pharmaceutical industry.
As Mr. Holman said that, you know, we're taking it to them, you know, a away game, but we all know that the team always plays better at home, and I don't think that we have done enough things here at home to going after them.
You told me about that, like going after the cash here in America. Like that, you said that would cut off their lifeblood because they literally ship cash back to Mexico in 18-wheelers.
Yes, absolutely. It's the reason why I'm here. It's the reason why I started doing this. I
Welcome,
run a
Asia.
consulting company called Kingpin to Educator, and what I'm pushing for is that we do work on to go after the bulk business.
She answered good. Hey, Asia, welcome. She answered good when Goob said, "Does every black woman have a live stream?" That's so funny. I'm glad y'all talking to each other. Our chats usually be really live. Y'all can talk. Y'all, I just want to kind of highlight some of these issues and critically think about it and talk about it too. Because when y'all address y'all elected officials about these, I think that we should have at least some type of one idea what's going on realistically and a way to approach it. Because obviously our elected officials don't know what the hell going on and they don't know what to do. They're just... I'm gonna move on, okay? Drain the swamp with some of them. Just drain the swamp.
Across the country and across the border into Mexico each and every day. We're talking about billions of dollars, sometimes untouched. Me, myself, and my organization, the 10 years I was trafficking, we exported back close to $3 billion of bulk US.
Oh, you heard him?
You exported $3 billion
You heard
of
him?
U.S. currency.
Yes, sir.
Wow. All right, I'm gonna let y'all finish. Watch this. I told y'all. He said when he did it, that guy was part of it. I ain't about to play. Mexico ain't about to let him come out here and talk that talk. Oh no, we gonna let y'all watch the full episode of that. I already know.
Trump made it a point. I'm going after these cartels, and it definitely had a blowback to the northern border. I mean, that's a wide open 5,000 plus miles. It's mostly wooded timber. You know, it's not open visibility like some of our desert areas. So of course, what are these guys going to do? What are these organizations going to do? They're going to shift tactics. They're going to fill and flow, you know, like we used to say in the Met team, fill and flow and find another way in. So the northern border right now is where we're really being, you know, violated and it's vulnerable. It's kind of a perfect storm up there to get fentanyl across, to traffic people for whatever, potentially a terrorism hit. Trump
So,
made the point.
have we talked about Trump securing the northern border?
As President Donald Trump threatens to unleash the U.S. military on drug cartels in Mexico and Venezuela, I'm reminded of a tongue lashing I received on Fox News a couple of decades ago. I was a correspondent covering Mexico's drug war. My fire-breathing host, Bill O'Reilly, seemed hell-bent on getting me to agree that the U.S. should invade Mexico to destroy its drug cartels. As he kept cutting me off, I remember trying to point out two things to Senor O'Reilly. First, that an invasion would obviously be an egregious violation of Mexico's national sovereignty, as Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum is warning Trump now, and just as importantly, that it wouldn't work. That was already being proven in those days by Mexico itself. Under President Felipe Calderon, Mexico is deploying thousands of troops to battle Los Narcos, but the military strategy was mostly a failure.
See?
Today, Mexican communities are still terrorized by cartel homicide, and U.S. communities are still terrorized by cartel fentanyl. And here's a key reason why. Soldiers make lousy drug cops.
See?
Militaries are trained to fight other militaries.
Wait, I am so glad he's breaking this down. I'm going to put his channel in the description for you. Just like I broke down to you guys about ICE. ICE is not supposed to be locking up American citizens. That's not their legal status, just as well as, or, you know, their authorization, just as well as the National Guard. They're not trained to be face-to-face with people. They're not supposed to be there. They're logistics. They are to be called in disasters, things like that. They have a different skill set. So just like he just said, the military is not the ones to go after the cartel. We need logistics. We need detectives. We need investigators. We need people who understand how to do synchronized attacks and how to protect the border. We need intelligent people. That's all I'm saying. I agree with you, sir. He said, listen, you made it worse. You basically made it worse because what these cartels are doing are finding other ways to distribute. So if they can't do it the way they were doing it through trucking, mail, or whatever, they're doing drones. I guess they're trying to come through sewer systems. I don't know. But regardless, this makes them ante up their skills when we're not going after it correctly. But y'all let me know, am I off here? You know, am I overthinking? Because I want them to address this. We have a serious drug problem here. Okay, serious drug problem in America. But it has to be addressed properly.
Organized crime requires effective and honest investigative police work. In Venezuela, where Trump is reportedly aiming 3 U.S. warships and thousands of Marines, military intervention could even result in an Iraq-style quagmire. That's because Venezuela's military itself is the nation's leading drug cartel.
Why are they playing that music? I start dancing.
A narcotics operation there could lead to actual war with Venezuela and even a messy Yankee occupation. Trump thought his MAGA minions were mad about him bombing Iran and not releasing the Epstein files. Wait till they see the U.S. Army nation building in Maracaibo. Now, I don't really disagree with the administration labeling narcos as terrorist groups, but sending the Marines to do war with them is much more perilous than, say, sending the National Guard into Washington, D.C.
I agree. I like this guy. We're going to save his video. Okay, this is WLRN Public Television and Radio. I didn't watch his video, but I guess we have the same kind of like ideas. People who critically think. I don't know, what is he? You know, people, you know, y'all label like, that's a liberal. That's a right side. I don't know who he is, but I agree with you, sir. We need to do this logistically, smartly. I'm going to talk like Trump. Smartly, goodly, beautifully. Okay? Critically. Let me stop. Let's get to our last video, and then we're just going to just give you an idea what we're going to be talking about in the next couple of days, guys. It's getting kind of hectic while we get this video to come up. Do you know that Trump basically wants to build a base in America for Qatar? Do y'all know who that is? Do y'all know who that is? Let's just watch this before we talk about that a little bit as we close off. New F-35s deploys as Trump ramp up war on cartel drugs. Okay, this is Fox 5 News 1 month ago. They're using our resources and our tax dollars.
Nicolas Maduro rallying his 8 million citizens to
Look at
fight
this.
the United States, claiming it's essential to their sovereignty. This comes as President Trump deploys stealth fighter jets to the Caribbean and puts the Maduro regime on notice.
And when I see boats coming in, like loaded up the other day with all sorts of drugs, probably fentanyl mostly, but all sorts of drugs, and we're going to take them out. And if people want to have fun going on the high seas or the low seas, they're going to be in trouble.
Let's bring in former acting DEA administrator under Trump, Derek Maltz, along with PragerU political commentator and Venezuelan political refugee, Franklin Camargo. Franklin, I'm going to start with you because you know Venezuela very well. You know the population. Let's talk about this militia that...
So this is Venezuela. This is their reaction to Trump. And we know the Tren de Agua is somewhere around here, like sleeper cells. Okay, and this is why I don't think it's totally a good idea to approach this. We can't go strong arming into people's land and expect them not to be upset. We're going to talk about the complications of this because I could break it down in real time. We're going to talk about the complications of this.
That he claims he has. What kind of militia is this, and how will they stand up to the U.S. Marines?
She laughing. This is not a joke.
Using simple math, we know that there are not 8 million people willing to die for Nicolas Maduro in the narco-terrorist state. Before the refugee crisis, the Venezuelan population was around 30 million. 30 million Venezuelans in Venezuela. 15 years later, we know that around 25 of the population have escaped, have left the country. So in the last election in July 2024, the elections that Maduro stole, we know that he really got around 3 million votes. So are we saying that 3 million Venezuelans are willing to vote for him? Only 3 million, but 8 million Venezuelans are willing to die for him and for a narco-terrorist regime. So by looking at the numbers, we know this is not real. Maduro is desperate, and he's desperate because he knows he's facing the most powerful country in the world.
Yeah, I think his militia is also very hungry these days. And even if you included those numbers, there's a lot of old people in there. They're the ones who couldn't leave the country as easily as some of the younger people. So this militia is a joke. And by the way, social media is having a lot of fun.
This is not funny. I don't think it's funny. Let's break down the math behind this as we start to wrap up this live. Honestly, I don't think it's funny. Because if we do the history of Venezuela, we played a big role in the collapse of their economy. Honestly, we played a big role related to our CIA and the things they were doing, collapsed their money system, helped them become socialists. And guess what? These people are broke and they are upset. A lot of the Venezuelans feel a way about Americans, and they feel like America owed them money, just like many other countries feel like that. That's why I said it was so disheartening and a little nerve-wracking to see all of these different countries flood into here as migrants with no control over who comes in, nothing about their background, what they believe, because we have set the tone in some countries that made people indifferent about us, the truth. Let me give you an example. Now, I have to bring this back to Haiti. This is the same. That's why it's not a joke. People call Haiti a shithole country, but we fight for our rights hard. So no one's going to come into the country and try to tell us what to do, how to do it, and then steal our resources. And that's the same thing that was happening with them. So then you build a population of rebels. Okay? Not only has these rebels already been fueled by the money and the projects that were targeted to that particular region, i.e. in Haiti, how we got guns in there. My elders would tell you, we don't make guns in Haiti. How did it get here? Because the biggest gang member in Haiti, Barbecue, was connected straight to Florida in the CIA, allegedly. Yeah, and all of a sudden now that he done took over and have power and not letting America come in and causing trouble out there. I ain't saying he's good. Now he's on America's most wanted list. So you have some people who be like, no, we love him, Barbecue saving us. And then we got some people in Haiti like, hell no, created a monster. It's the same thing here in these other countries as well. You have people in Venezuela like, hey, it was our president this was a dictatorship. We needed America to come in and help us. But then the repercussions behind it, the people who felt that like, no, America destroyed our fucking nation. I'm just keeping it real. And they have this animosity towards us. So we have sleeper cells in here. Then you have a whole country that's in chaos, financially, mentally, and spiritually, because we put our hand on it. This is very complicated. On top of you're going into other people's terrain. I don't care what grandioso we feel as Americans, because I don't live under that. America's the best, Baby, China smart as all hell. North Korea is militant as all hell. And we not like that. So I don't put nothing past nobody. But to stretch our forces and put them into these countries that we don't know their terrain, we don't know all of their capability, is dangerous. I don't think that that's a good idea. And I think that we should approach this better. I really think that Trump should secure our borders first, logistically find out what's going on. You say it's the north side, go there. Go talk to the Mexican president. Talk to them. Don't say I'm going to put treaties. Don't say your country is, that country ain't no country like Canada. You the 51 state. We cannot do this. That's not how international relationships work. It's really out of pocket. And to say this, I'm going to bring the proof because we're going to have to talk about Israel. Now this is where we're going to finish off. It's getting kind of hectic. That's why black women on, because y'all gonna have to get this black girl magic and get into this brain, this forehead. Okay, so Trump is trying to build a base in America for Qatar. That is not a United States base. That's not our army. We're going to have a foreign country military on our soil. Not a good idea. But peep this. Qatar has been battling Israel for years. Did y'all know that? Dun, 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 dun. So it's a little complicated to me because we've been supporting Israel, being their spokesman, and now the truth is coming out that they're the synagogue of Satan. They possibly unalive Charlie Kirk. Shout out to the Hebrews, because we were the first to put that out there before Candace Owens, before anybody. We remember that time I said, listen, I don't know a lot about Charlie Kirk. I had to pray on it. But the first thing that I saw was a video from my Hebrew brother, and I played that for y'all. And it was basically indicating that he was having some change in heart towards Israel. With that goes to say, they have been doing a lot in our politics. Now it's like, okay, how are we going to build a base for Qatar here, and Israel is not friends with them? This whole thing is just weird. Am I overthinking? It's a little bit complicated. So we're going to keep our eye on what Trump is doing as far as allowing a foreign nation to build a base in America. Not a good idea. On top of, is America still going to support Israel? You hear all the hoopla that's going on. I haven't talked about it a lot, but you have basically Candace Owens and what's the other gentleman that started his own podcast? Those two, Tucker Carlson, that's exposing them. Oh, it's a new day. I swear the Hebrews are happy. I just watched a video of my brothers, the Hebrews, who are on, basically, it's a list of who will be the, what was the list? The list is who would be named the highest threat to keeping the people silent as far as the Hebrews and what we have been putting out about Israel. We have been putting that out. We've been censored for years. Shout out to Ron Dalton, all of the Hebrew brothers that's been trying to tell everybody that they're the synagogue of Satan, that they're not the original Jews. They are Jewish. They don't even believe in Jesus Christ. These type of things. So these conversations are happening now, and it's like, whoa. So I'm trying to figure out what angle to come at this. So I guess because I'm traumatized a little bit as a black woman, a black Hebrew woman, I'm very traumatized because every time I talked about Israel and who they were and who we were and the path they were taking all of us down, we were censored. So I will hope we can talk about it now, but we're going to move into that subject. So it looks like America is trying to build a base in America. Trump is trying to allow Qatar to build a base here. Qatar is against Israel. Israel literally did, in my opinion, a fake peace treaty with Gaza. I don't think that's over. I don't think that's over with the Palestine. We got to keep our eyes on what's going on there because they have destroyed the whole Gaza Strip. So I really think the next part of their plan is going to come true where they're going to confiscate all of these people's land because that's what they want. And these people have to rebuild it. See what happens there. I'm kind of going to the left, but imagine your area where you own land is completely destroyed, but you have the title to it. And now that the war is over, what are you going to do to rebuild? Do you see what I'm saying? It's take loans, get in more debt, lose your land. I think their plan is kind of unraveling. So we're going to pray for the Palestinians and what's going on with them. But I don't think it's over yet. And I think we're going to leave it like that. We're at our hour point. We're past our hour point. We usually do an hour. I want to say thank you so much for being here with Miss Grace. We're here in the evening time today because I had a long weekend. We will be back in the morning, our 8 a.m., where we're going to get into a little bit more. We're going to try to diverse the conversation a little bit, not just talk about Trump. We'll keep you posted. Also, I need you guys to check this out. On October 27th, we have a special. I don't know if you guys know, I am not an investigator, but I am an investigator. I love to investigate. I've been working on this wrongful death lawsuit case, not a lawsuit, but a case that took place in Dalton, Illinois. where 2 officers was involved in killing a 19-year-old girl. Please look at our timeline. That is the thing that I have been focusing on. So I have some updates about that particular case, about what I've been doing to get this officer fired, as well as expose the corruption on the Democratic side of the South Side. Oh yeah, that's why I'm here, because they tried to censor me. You know what I'm saying? You think I was complaining about the Republicans? That's why I'm a separatist, okay? Because they both on some BS. So we'll be talking about that on the 27th, giving you a intel of where I'm at with the investigation, how far we are with getting this officer fired, as well as we're going to get into another part of the investigation. If you don't know, please look at the playlist. It's called Alexis, Forever Alexis. And we're at the point of this investigation where we're trying to figure out, was the gun planted? Okay, so we have a lot. Y'all like, what? Was the gun planted? 19-year-old shot. What is going on here? The story gets crazy, but this is why I've been investigating it. So on the 27th, we're going to start to talk about, was the gun planted in this young lady's car? Okay, and this is related to Southside corruption in Dalton, Illinois. Right out there where you saw them run down on that building is a reason why they ran up in the building, because the politics out there is corrupted as all hell, and they're selling the people out too. So I know I said a mouthful. I want to say I love you guys. Thank you for being here with Grace. I'll see you guys in the morning. Have a blessed night, and hit the like button. Bow.